Hey girl, hey. Welcome. This is Sarah Pritchett, Confidence Coach for Women, and I welcome to the very first episode of Fierce TV. And of course, I have on no other than Cardi B, and no, I do not own the rights to the music on here because I know they about to ask me. So I love Cardi, and the reason why I selected Cardi to start out the very first episode of Fierce TV, which you will see recurring over the course of the next year, or aka years, is because Cardi has had an amazing year. And it did not just happen by chance. There was shift or shit that had to happen, right? Even if it was her preparation meeting opportunity kind of came to the forefront, there was some type of shift and shit she had to do to position herself and prepare herself for her come up, right? So this is one of my favorite songs by her and her fiance Offset, which is called Lit. And I gave y'all the clean version because y'all not old enough for all that, okay? So anyway, for those that are new to me, I'm going to give people a couple minutes to hop on. From this moment on for Fierce TV, we will always start out with a song that I'm really vibing, right? We're going to start out with a rap session because one thing you should know about me is that I love rap music. I love God. I love empowering women. I love poetry. And I'm going to incorporate those things into Fierce TV. So I hope that you will join me in partaking in that, right? So, hey, welcome. Please make sure you say, hey, Tara, hey, so that I know that you are on here. I'm just saying, welcome to the very first episode of Fierce TV. I got my Cardi on, and again, I do not own the rights to the music because I know Facebook about to ask me. Do you own the rights to this? Because we ain't posting this. So again, like I was saying, welcome to the first episode. We're going to start out with a rap session as people hop on, and then I'm going to go into our Fierce Tidbit of the Day. Hey, Lisa. We're going to start out with a Fierce Tidbit of the Day, and then we're going to go into our content, which are 8 ways to make shift happen in 2018. So I said shift on purpose because not only do I like trap music, and not only do I love God and I love empowering women, but I kind of like to cuss sometimes. So I try to be nice today with the shift. You feel me? So while people jump on, we're actually going to jump into our Fierce Tidbit of the Day, right? And I will be pulling those for every episode of Fierce TV from my book, Born Fierce, How to Unleash the Confident Woman Within, which is now available on Amazon.com. Hey, Kathy. Hey, Kendra. Oh, I see these hands. Y'all waving. Welcome to the first episode of Fierce TV. I have Cardi B in the background. Hopefully you can hear it. But I'm going to turn it down for now, right? We just had our little rap session. And like I said, here's our Fierce Tidbit today coming from Born Fierce, How to Unleash the Confident Woman Within. So for today's Fierce Tidbit, I'm choosing a quote from page 11, which is from the incomparable Maya Angelou, right? And the quote says, a woman that is in harmony with her spirit is like a river flowing. She goes where she will without pretense, and she arrives at her destination prepared to be herself. And I absolutely love that quote because I love the first line, which is a woman in harmony with her spirit is like a river flowing. Because I feel like so often we're always trying to force everything, trying to make certain things happen. And then when they don't happen, we get upset, we get frustrated, we start crying. We feel like, okay, God, why is this happening to me? Or we're like, okay, this ain't never going to work. But like she said, a woman in harmony with her spirit, which would mean a woman that's really in harmony with her soul. Your soul is in alignment with God, right? If you're in alignment with that, then you're obviously going to be in a flow, right? So as we get into our topic for today, 8 ways to make shift happen. The only way that you make shift happen is to be in flow. Hey, Sammy, is to be in the flow of things, right? When it comes to your spirit, right? When it comes to your soul and when it comes to God. One thing I will suggest that you guys do is to share this broadcast with others if you are able to on your page. And hey, to everybody that is joining me for our class tonight, right? So again, Sammy, welcome to Fierce TV. We started out with a little rap session with Cardi B. And the reason why I chose Cardi B is because I felt as though Cardi had a phenomenal year in 2017. And I want you to have a Cardi year in 2018. Okay. And we just finished going through our Fierce Tidbit of the Day, which is from my book, Born Fierce, How to Unleash the Confident Woman Within, right? So again, I just want to reiterate Look at her. Cardi done started again doing too much, right? So anyway, a woman in harmony with her spirit is like a river flowing, right? So I want you to think about that, right? How can you get into your flow as you move into a new season, into a new year of your life? So I want you to think about that, right? As we go through our time for today, which is again 8 ways to make shift happen in 2018. Now, I don't know if you've ever heard of the book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. It's a real popular. A lot of people read it in like corporate America. People read it in colleges. We even have it at my school, right? So, and I believe number 1 or number 2, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, is to always begin with the end in mind. So begin with the end in mind. So if you want to be in flow, or you want to make shift happen in your life as you move into a new year and a new season, you got to begin with the end in mind, right? So our ending would be what? December 31st, 2018. Or if you're thinking bigger than that, some people are doing, I know I saw a lady that I know, she sat down one day and had a book of her, it was her 5-year plan, right? So that's a whole couple of years from now, right? But she was beginning with the end in mind, right? So I want you to think about, have you thought about the ending that you want, right? Have you thought about, even if you get to the end of your life, start thinking about that legacy you want to leave, right? Now we're getting into purpose. But what do you want that to look like and to be like when we get to that ending? What do you want it to look like at the end of 5 years from now? What do you want it to look like at the end of this year from now, right? What do you want your life to be like, right? Because from there, you're able to position yourself to make shift happen in your life, right? So I would suggest that you get a pen and paper so that you can take notes as you go through. Most people take anywhere from 2 to 3 pages of notes when they fooling with me, just because I like to share, most importantly, because I like to serve you and make sure that you get what you need so that you can live the life that you desire to live, right? So let's go ahead and hop into number 1. And I wrote my notes down so that I stay on track and so that I respect your time at the same time, right? So here is the number 1 thing that you can do to make shift happen in 2018 that does not involve a vision board. Even though I'm in the process of making a board, your board alone is not going to make shit happen. Let's just be clear on that. So it's something that's nice to have. It's something beautiful for certain seasons of your life, certain times of your life, but that doesn't necessarily ensure that things are going to actually happen in your life, right? So the number 1 thing I would suggest, right, going beyond affirmations, going beyond just doing a vision board, is to have some type of notebook, right? And I have one. I got a new one for Christmas. My cousin gave me this, right? But it's to write down your intentions every single day. So write down your intentions every single day. And if you took my class, or if you purchased Fierce and Focus, 8 Ways to Win in 2018, I brought up intentions a lot. I said, no more resolutions. I don't even want to say goals, to be honest. It's really about your intentions. Your intentions are everything. Whatever you are intending is what's going to come to you, what's going to happen. So, and I know this is a lot. I know it's a lot. It's a practice that requires discipline because it's something that I'm asking you to do every single day. And I know for me, I supposed to be doing it the last 2 weeks. I kind of fell off a little bit, but guess what? Today I was at Panera Bread. I sat down and I wrote my intentions again. I have been saying them every day, but it's something different and something magically happens when you write your intentions down every single day. Imagine if every single day you are writing down, I want an Oscar, I want an Oscar, I want an Oscar, right? So when it comes to really shifting yourself, you already know how much I talk about your beliefs and your mindset. But the easiest way to shift your beliefs and your mindset is repetition, doing stuff over and over and over again, which can be annoying. But here is something that I learned and I'm mastering, right? I believe it's part of my life purpose to master this, and that's discipline. And what I've come to learn is that discipline is the gateway to freedom. So if you can discipline yourself to get into that habit every single day where you are writing down your intentions and what you desire to come into your life. So if you're writing down every day, you know, the man that I am marrying now, he is right here. And you writing that down every day. Or you're writing down every day that, you know, I am a certified biochemist. I mean, I don't know what your dreams are. I don't know what your visions are. But again, if you're writing that down every single day, you are going to start to manifest and attract that stuff to you because you are literally shifting and changing what your mind believes. And remember, and I say that all the time, your mind don't know the difference between what you're writing down and what is really real. That's why when you stay in a state of negativity all the time, then you're constantly attracting negativity to yourself. If you're constantly like, oh, I'm broke, I don't got no money, then guess what? You're constantly going to be broke and I have no money. But if you're writing every day, I'm a multimillionaire, I'm a multimillionaire, I'm a multimillionaire over and over again, you're going to become what you're saying that you are. That's why your thoughts and your words are so powerful. So I would encourage you, if you might already have a notebook already, you might need to go get a new one. This is not the one I actually use. The one that I use actually literally says on the front, daily intentions. And I write it down every single day. So I had like 30 of them. And that's kind of where I was getting stuck. I feel like I had so many and so many of them overlapped. So today what I did is I refined my list, right? And I made it so instead of there being like 31 of them, there's now 12 of them. So that's a lot easier for me, to say every day, but also for me to write every day, right? Which is going to require some level of what? Some level of discipline. But again, there will be no shifts if you're not disciplining yourself to do things. That's the same thing is true if you want to lose weight. Weight is one of your goals that you want to work on. There will be no shifts in weight if there is no discipline practice in terms of what you were eating and how you were moving your body, right? It's something you have to do every single day in order for you to make that shift happen in the new year, okay? Let's get into number 2, right? So the number 2 way that you can make shift happen in your life is for you to get some type of accountability partner, right? And that's something that's free. You don't got to pay for it, but you do have to find somebody else who is willing to be that accountability partner for you, right? Or if you are in a position, or if you have set aside a certain amount of funds, you can decide that you want to get a coach for this year, right? So I know a couple of people have told me personally that they want to get a coach for the new year. And some people are like, I've never had an experience like that before. Trust me, I completely understand. But I will tell you from personal experience from investing in my own coaches, that it will completely change your life, right? If you get the right person that is in alignment with you. And you'll know who's in alignment with you because you will know them, you will like them, and you will trust what they have to say, right? Because you should be following them, seeing what they're doing, seeing what kind of results they get. You should even get on the phone with them so you can have a conversation, right? So that's why I oftentimes offer, free discovery sessions with people just so that we can get on the phone and that we can talk. Because once we get on the phone, then you're my girl, right? Not necessarily mean you're going to work with me, but that means that we have now built some type of connection, right? So I can't tell you how many people I've connected with over the phone. Maybe that was 3 years ago, and maybe they just brought a program yesterday. Right. That's because, again, they've been following me. They're trying to see, do they know me? Do they like me? Do they trust me? And I encourage you to do the same thing if you're going to invest in somebody. But if you want somebody to help kind of check you and keep you in place, then you are going to have to get an accountability partner. I know in a lot of Facebook groups that I'm in, especially, I guess, in the entrepreneur space, a lot of people will put out like a call in the group. There's all types of groups. So you don't have to be an entrepreneur, but they'll put little calls out like, oh, I'm looking for a partner to help me do X, Y, and Z, or I'm looking for a partner in order to, contact me every day at 5 a.m. We get up and we do a little prayer call every day at this time to help us get through the day. Whatever it is that you need, you really got to think about what you need. So for me, my accountability partner over the course of this year was actually one of my former clients, who, after we worked together, definitely took off with her personal growth, but she also took off with her business growth. And not only that, she really recognized that she wanted to be a speaker. I also know that I've been gifted to be a speaker as well. So for whatever reason, I told her about this program. I'm like, hey, I think I'm going to invest, a couple hundred in this program. You might be interested. So we decided to go through the program together. We did our individual work, but every couple weeks or so, we would email each other and say, hey girl, did you do X, Y, and Z? Or, did you do your speaker one sheet? Did you talk to our coach yet? So it's kind of like we had that accountability check-in, right, with one another that allowed us to stay on track with the content, because the program was only like 6 weeks. But there was still additional work. Like, there's so much work you have to do. Like, you have to reach out to all these people to get speaking contracts. You got to make your speaker reel. So we checked in with one another, which allowed us to stay accountable and to move forward in the way that we wanted to, right? And allowed us to get paid speaking gigs, which is something that I was doing the year prior, but I wanted to elevate it a little bit more, right? So again, having somebody there that can help check you, right? So in that sense, I had one for my professional growth, right? But then for my personal growth, I also had a personal development coach as well. I believe she actually calls herself an intuitive confidence coach or something like that. I don't know. I don't know her title. But her accountability, it wasn't necessarily one-on-one support, but we had more of I was in a group program. Hey, Natasha. So, but that group contact though, like our Facebook group where people are sharing, or her popping up on Facebook Live every day, that was still accountability for me. So even if I missed her live, I would go back, pull out my notebook and do my work on myself when I had an opportunity to, but that still gave me accountability, but that's still me feeding myself and investing in myself. So that helped me elevate myself to a whole nother level. Whereas now I'm positioned because I've shifted something inside of me, because I've been doing the inner work on myself personally. I've also been doing stuff in terms of, my purpose as well by being a part of that speaking program, right? So I want you to think about, right, to help you. And the beauty in this is when you're trying to make a shift, having somebody else who's already been through where you've been through, they can help get you there quicker. So I will say they can also, I don't like the word shortcuts, but it kind of got a little shortcut to it because they've already been in that space. So they can give you the wisdom, they can give you the tools, they can give you the techniques that you need if you do invest in somebody, right? And the investment, I will tell you this, and I'm going to be completely honest. There are some people I have spent thousands of dollars with as a coach, and they were just okay, right? Just the other day, I invested $50, right? Everybody got $50 at some point. I invested $50 for a one hour business coaching session with somebody. Completely blew my mind, completely helped me get all of my whole life together for the next year, 2018, in 1 hour. Somebody else, I spent like $1,000 and I only had like one 30-minute session and I got completely nothing out of it, right? So it's not about the amount of money, right? In some programs I've spent thousands of dollars on. And I did get the value that I wanted, right? So again, like goes back to my point earlier, you need to make sure you're vetting out who it is and don't be so attached to the glitz and the glam of everything that's posted. Because there's people I've invested in who's very glitzy and glam and they have like 300,000 followers on Instagram. And I've downloaded like their like confidence workbook and I was like very disappointed. Like, okay, you have all of this buzz, right? But then there's other people who have maybe a smaller brand or, just an everyday woman that I just want to connect with. And I got so much value out of just connecting with them. Like I said, one of my old clients was my accountability partner. Or even the group coaching I was in for last year, I think it was only like $33 a month, and my life completely transformed it, right in just a year. So it's not necessarily the dollar amount, it's more so who the person is that you're connecting with. Also, how much of the time and energy are you putting in, because that's how you get the shifts that come out of it based on who you are lining yourself up with, if that makes sense. Okay, for anybody that is just joining us, welcome to Fierce TV. I'm happy that you're joining us today. We're doing 8 ways to make shift happen. Our number one shift that we just went over is to write your intentions down every single day. So going beyond just making a vision board, just saying affirmations every day, I'm encourage you to write your intentions down. And I don't mean like, it could be your daily intentions, but I just mean like your overall intentions of what you want. So I suggested writing down, my husband is showing up right now to marry me, or, I make $5,000 every single month with ease and with flow right now in this very moment. Hey, Juanita. It says, here we go. I would have said, okay. So, and then number 2 is to get you an accountability partner or get you a coach, right? So, and Juanita is watching, and she actually was my accountability partner I was talking about earlier when it came to my speaking, right? And I need to talk to you. I need to talk to you and follow up on her speaking now that I'm bringing that up, right? To see where we actually ended and what our plan is for next year so we can still hold one another accountable, okay? So let's get into our number 3 shift in terms of making shift happen in 2018. So the number 3 is going to be like, probably sound kind of weird because when I'm connecting with you, I'm on here all the time, which is social media. But my number 3 shift is to get off of social media. I know that sounds counterproductive. It doesn't make any sense. She said, I know. But it's to get off social media, right? And I don't mean don't like not follow me or see what I'm doing on social media. What I mean in terms of, I know me, especially lately, I don't know if it's because it's the holidays, but I feel like I've been wasting a lot of time just sitting on my phone, just kind of scrolling through aimlessly, without a purpose, if that makes sense, right? And I feel like sometimes we get into that mode. And my students were telling me about some apps. My bad, I did not write them down. That you can actually use to put on your phone to time you out of stuff. I think that I'm going to be doing that to make some shift happen, because I could be a lot more productive in certain areas if I'm not sitting there scrolling through or seeing what other people are doing. But at the same token, a lot of people think that the grass is always greener on the other side of other people's lives sometimes on social media, which is not necessarily true, right? The grass is always going to be greener where it's being watered. When you're tending to your own self, when you're tending to your own garden, of what you are doing, right? You have the opportunity to flourish. But sometimes when we're constantly looking at what other people are doing online, I definitely think that knocks people off of their game, right? I can't tell you how many times, I have people that are emailing me or reaching out to me, and, jealousy or envy is something that really affects them, right? That's actually on my YouTube channel, Unleash Your Fierce, one of my highest rated videos, that has thousands of viewers and all types of comments on it, has to do with how you can stop competing with other women, right? Stop competing and stop comparing yourself with other women, and instead connect with them and collaborate with them. Because so often when we're seeing other people's success in their businesses and engagements and marriages and babies, they bought a house, we oftentimes think, okay, now I'm behind because, oh, she just graduated, but it's taking me longer. Oh, she's about to have a baby. Like everybody I graduated, now they have a kid. Look at me. What am I doing? Right? Or, oh, it's all these engagements, especially around this time of the year. And it's like, okay, what am I doing wrong, right? And that definitely will knock you off from shift happening, because then your energy will get into the wrong space, because you're in a place of, okay, why is this not happening for me? But you need to make a shift. You need to make a shift, right? And I talked about this in my last live video. You need to make a shift as to, like, Lord, why is this happening to me? And instead ask God, who do you need me to become so that I can be in a position to have that baby, or to have that degree, or to have this, or to have this thing, right? So get away from, thank you for the likes. So you got to get away from, why is this happening to me? Why is this taking so long? We got to get out of this place, in a space of where, I'm waiting for stuff to happen. Shift does not happen. Shit don't happen when you're waiting. You got to learn how to savour the waiting. You have to be in a place of anticipation, right? You should be in a space, in a place where you're acting as if, like, girl, look, I'm about to get married on December 30th, 2020, and it's a guarantee. I declare and decree it right now. This is what's going to happen, right? So it's about you being certain about those things. And that goes back to writing down, exactly, Natasha, get off comparing. That goes back to writing down your intentions every single day. Because if you're writing down your intentions every day, what you're doing is you're co-creating your life with God. And I know for me, after I write down my intentions to ensure that it's not just me, because, I will come up with all kinds of stuff. And God be like, girl, no. Like, you're right now, you only want to make this amount, but I'm trying to get you to make this amount. That's way bigger than anything you even thought of or imagined, right? So at the end of when I'm writing down my intentions, I'll always say, right, I kind of put my hand over my notebook, right? And I will say, I declare and decree this, or something better, even better is going to happen, because God can dream a bigger dream for you than you can dream for yourself, right? And if you go on unleashyourfears.com/blog, I have an entire blog post all about how to write God-sized goals. Right? How to write God-sized goals. Because so often we'll write little goals like, oh, I just want to buy a house. Okay, girl, like, well, what does that mean? Right? God might be like, I'm trying to give you a mansion. But you like, oh, I just want to get a little apartment across town. And he's like, no, I'm trying to give you a 3-bedroom apartment. 3-bedroom home that's fully furnished, that's up to date. It got stainless steel in there. You got luxury items. You got your rent paid for. But sometimes we kind of think kind of small. We have good goals, but you have to start elevating yourself to have God-sized goals, right? And I got that from, I had that revelation last week. It's a girl, her name is Kristen Mills. And she has a blog called Hustle and Grace. Hopefully I said that right. If not, it's in the blog post. And she kind of talked about this idea of having the God-sized goals, but also God-sized goals. I saw one of my best friends from college. He was writing something similar the other day, like, as he's sitting down reflecting and writing his goals, they're starting to scare him. But then as I was reflecting earlier today, I was thinking, I wrote out a lot of stuff because I'm really reflective, like, I'm next level. But I can't remember, right? So I'm so busy saying God-sized goals, I'm starting to think I don't have enough goals on there that really scare me enough. So I'm thinking as I will go back and reflect on my goals again before the new year, that there are some things I might need to tweak myself, right? Because so that's also important to making shifts is checking yourself, right? So as a woman, as I mentioned earlier, when I talked about that quote from Maya Angelou, right, a woman who's in harmony, right, who's in flow, she's able to check herself at the same time so it doesn't interrupt her flow or mess up where she is going, right? So making sure God's size goals will be something that kind of scares you or something you might not necessarily to be able to do on your own by yourself. That's why it's important to write them intentions down every single day, to have an accountability partner or a coach who can also help you, right? So obviously God is the greatest coach that's out here. I ain't even gonna lie. Absolutely. But he will send people your way or put you in alignment with certain people that will help you get to those things quicker. And you can get to those things quicker if, number three, like I said, you get off social media or stop comparing yourself to other people's success where everybody else is. Everybody has their timing. And I know you don't want to hear that. I know I didn't used to hear that either, because people say it over and over and over and over and over again. But again, the way to make your timing a reality, write down your intentions every day. Write down your intentions every day. And all the people that we see online who are like constantly doing stuff, me, I love people's stories, right? Stories sell. I love people's stories. So I'm quick to read somebody's autobiography, their biography, to go back through, scroll all the way back to their Instagram before it was popping, scroll all the way through their Facebook before it was popping and it was jumping, and they were married and all this stuff. And you'll start to see people's journeys unraveling and unfolding, and you'll start to see that a lot of the stuff that I'm sharing with you are the same shifts that they went through over time. And now you're seeing the manifestation of those shifts come into fruition, right? Because they made a choice, they made a decision. Maybe they wrote some shit down, maybe they made a vision board, maybe they have a coach, maybe they pray. You don't even know where people are. Like, I have friends who are now married with families, and I remember years ago them crying like, this is really what I want. And now they have that. But a lot of people, again, want the glamorous story, right? Everybody wants the glory, but nobody wants to go through the hard story of what it really takes, which is trial and error, right? You're not going to become, I was teaching this class the other day called the Purpose Lab, and I was talking about, for most people that are overnight success, that takes anywhere from 10 to 15 years. 10 to 15 years. Now, we can say the little Cash Me Outside girl, she came up overnight. Ain't nobody worry. I'm not talking about that kind of success, right? I'm talking about like longevity success out here in the game. People that will pop up out of nowhere. They've been hustling, grinding, doing their thing over and over again, and you just now seeing them now popping up. And it seems like, oh, now they're so popping and all that. People have been popping because guess what? They persisted. They keep going. They persevere through, and they don't give up as they go through the process. So don't allow social media or anybody else to make you stop your little glow up, to make you stop being in alignment with the God-sized goals that you set for yourself, or that you may need to go back through and just double check yourself. Because I'm gonna go back and double check myself and be like, okay, is this God's size or is this my size, right? Because he can do stuff I can't do. He can dream about stuff that I didn't even think about any of that. Right? So keep that in mind. All right, let's get to number 4, right? Number 4 is one of my favorites because number 4 is going back to the basics. Number 4 shift you need to make, go back to the basics, back to the basics. And what do I mean by that, right? So the same stuff that you've done that have made you successful as to where you are now, because sometimes we fall off. So for example, I lost over the course of the last year, I've lost 40 pounds and I maintained it because I like to eat. But it's going back to basics. How am I able to maintain that? Right, by me making sure I'm back to the basics of what I'm eating. I eat basic stuff. I got a basic list of stuff that I'm eating. The same thing is true. How do you stay fierce? How do you stay confident every day? You have to have some type of confidence routine. I say this all the time. I will say it every day until I cannot say it anymore. But that's basic. Every day when you wake up, what is your routine? Go back to the basics. Just like you get up, you wash, you get ready, you write down your intentions every day. That's going back to the basics. So even when you fall off, how you make shift happen, you got to get your ass back on track as you move forward over the course of every single day, right? So as my cousin Gerald always says, and he's gonna be like, I know you say that. He does hashtag no days off. So that's honestly what it really takes. No days off. Back to the basics, right? You got to go back to the basics. So if that means you got to meal prep, you got to have the meals ready, especially as you go into a new year. You don't want to wait till then to start off, but go back to those basics. Does that mean you got a meal prep, right? Does that mean that you need to go back to going to church every week? Does that mean that you got to go back to talking to your girlfriend on a regular basis, right? I need to call my best friend right now. I'm not even going to lie to y'all. She probably like, she going live, but she ain't even call me back. I'm going to call you back though. But anyway, go back to those basics. That means going back to reading. You used to love to read. Go back to it. You used to love to journal. Go back to it. You used to like to take long walks on the beach, in the park. Go back to the thing where you remember, falling in love with yourself, or you remember you really being in connection with God, right? You know the song "Take Me Back, Dear Lord," to the place where I first I first met you. I should know this because that's my song. That song really makes me really, really emotional. But that's my song, and sometimes I have to go back to that song because that takes me back to the basics of why I'm here and how I'm connected to something that's larger and bigger than myself. So that reminds me that as shift is happening, and let's also keep in mind that as shift is happening in your life, it's not always going to feel good. When you're stepping out of that comfort zone, when you're doing something new, when you're disciplining yourself, when you have to get up early and write them intentions down, that doesn't always feel good at the start of it, but we're not focusing on it feeling good in the moment. We're looking at the longevity of it. We're looking at where we're going to be at the end game, where we're going to be in the middle of this, right? Where we're going to be. So if you're on your chapter 29, right, of your life, we're looking at where you're going to be on chapter 35. We're not worrying about right now. Chapter 29 might be a little bit challenging, but when I get to chapter 35, my life is about to be popping, right? That's the mindset that we have to get into. But you got to go back to basis. Take yourself back. If that means you need to start picking up your Bible more, pick it up. If that means you need to get some audios to listen to every day, get back to the basics. And also remember this, when you get to that next level that you're trying to get to, you got to go back to the basics even more, if not more, because now you have to maintain and keep yourself there. Like I said, when it comes to, when I lost weight before, I was like, oh, I hit 60 pounds. Girl, it's the summer. Let me go grab. I'm going out for, cake and pizza, and I can kind of do whatever. Girl, that was a whole dumb mistake right there that I made, right? And then I had to go, and then when I was finally ready to move into a place of losing the weight and keeping it off, I had to go back to the basics of where I first started. And I was like, wow, okay. So in order for me to maintain it. So I'm happy. I didn't necessarily lose anymore, even though that was a vision that I had or a desire. But I don't even care about that. I'm just happy I was able to maintain what I already took off, because for me, that is just a big accomplishment for me. I'm just going to say that. You know what's going to be big for you. You know what's basic for you and what you need to go back to in order for you to get back to basics and for you to be in alignment where you need to be, okay? All right, so let's get into number 5 shift that you need to make when it comes to 2018. And this one a lot of people like because this has to do with money. So I don't know, in the last couple of weeks, a lot of people have been DMing me like, oh, do you have a program that's about money? Girl, I definitely don't. Uh, I definitely don't have a program that's about money. But I might in the near future, but right now I don't. But because a lot of people in my Fear Squad community are asking me that, and if you're not in the Facebook group, please make sure you go to Unleash Your Fear Squad on Facebook to request to join us if you're not, right? Or also to leave your comments as to what you are enjoying most about this class. But when it comes to money, the thing I'm going to encourage you to do, make a shift when it comes to money as it comes to 2018. So many people, I guess, when they bring it up is they want to know how to make more money. But the whole problem with that shift is that even when you make more money, if you don't know how to manage your money, it does not matter how much more money you're making, because money only makes you more of who you already are. So if you already lavish and like to buy a whole bunch of stuff, you're going to be lavish and buy a whole bunch of stuff when you get more money, and you still going to be broke, because you can have a whole a whole bunch of money, right, coming your way. But if you don't know what to do with it, it don't matter. So what I'm going to encourage you to make a shift when it comes to your money for next year is I want you to shift and cut out things that are unnecessary that you are spending on. I'm challenging myself to do the same thing. If something is unnecessary, like, do you really need to buy that coffee every single morning, or could you buy the little coffee maker to put at your house to cut back on that? Do you really need to, when I go in the store, especially when I be shopping with my mom sometimes, she just wants to buy everything. And I'd be like, girl, you did not need that. I don't need it. You don't need it. Start thinking, cut out unnecessary things. Think about go back to the basics. What do you basically need for you to live and have yourself a good life? So think about this. People that are wealthy, they do not spend when their check comes in. First of all, they're not doing paycheck to paycheck, number one. But number two, they are not spending their entire check on everything that they have, right? So there's this new book out that a lot of entrepreneurs are kind of saying, oh, this is amazing. I started reading like the first couple chapters. It is amazing. It's called Profit First. So it's basically about when you do get paid in your business, that you're supposed to profit first. Usually you go ahead and you pay all your stuff, your expenses, then you pay yourself. But I'm going to encourage you to make the shift as well to profit first. And I will be practicing this as well. So hopefully a year from now, then I will be in a position to share more, maybe create some type of program about money in some way. Even though in some of my programs, I do talk about money, but I talk about it more so from a spiritual and abundance mindset, not so much the practical steps. But here I want to share with you something practical. But thinking about when you start getting paid next year, how can you profit first, right? You have it. It's great. Exactly. A lot of people be saying it's great. I have it on my phone. I need to order the paperback or the hardback or whatever, because the author of the book, I don't know. If you know, I don't know off the top of my head. If you know who it is, please let us know. I don't really know. But start profiting first. Start taking your cut first, right? Start actually sitting down, tracking everything. And you might already be doing that. But think about how can you profit first, right? You should be setting up, a separate savings account that you cannot touch. I don't care if you open it about another bank, but set something up where you cannot touch. Like if you have to go touch it, then you feel some kind of way inside of yourself where you have to go and get money out of there. And a lot of people and I've been doing a lot of like money research recently, right? And I joined what is it, Tiffany the Budgetnista? I'm sure you've heard of her. She has a huge community. But I've been reading through like her book and all that kind of stuff, and I'm like, whoa. But she definitely encourages, right? Because she's an expert when it comes to money and becoming debt free, which I know a lot of people have expressed in the last couple of weeks as something that they want to work on. But again, that will require you to cut out unnecessary stuff that you really do not need. Like, do you really need that extra sweater? Do you really need that extra coffee? Do you really need to have your cable bill all the way up here? Even for your phone, right? I'm paying way too much for my cell phone bill. I went out with my friend Jeremy, and he was like, my bill, he said his bill is like $50, and he was tracking the data on his phone. And he was checking the Wi-Fi. I'm like, I don't even know how to do all that. I pay Sprint and I keep it moving. And he was like, well, you should know this and you should know that. And I'm like, okay, clearly that's something I need to look more into, right? So there are lots and tons of ways that you can do it, but you have to put in the work in order to do that. And instead of us keep thinking, oh, I need to make more money and more money and more money. And yes, it's absolutely amazing to make more money. Let me tell you, waking up to a PayPal notification, that's amazing. But at the same token, how are you managing that particular thing? Okay, so Mike, I'm not even going to try the last name. Y'all can see it on there. Thank you, Juanita. But tracking their money is important, but also saving money is important. So one thing that I'm going to be trying, and I got this from Tiffany the Budgetnista's group, right, which I absolutely love, to make a shift happen. Not only do I plan to track myself even more, right, to track myself even more in my business, but also in my personal life, because I've shared that a million times this year. I thought at the beginning of this year I wasn't making as much money as I did in 2016 in my business. And I talked to one of my coaches, and she was like, I think you need to go back and actually look at your numbers. And when I did, I was like, whoa, you're absolutely right. I learned I learned that I was making so much more than I thought because I wasn't tracking it consistently every day. And money loves attention. That's one thing I know for sure. Money loves attention. Imagine money is like a relationship you have with your man. I know that's weird, but that's what I teach in my programs. And Alicia Fierce program, in Powerfully Positioned Women Academy, that's exactly what I teach my clients. That you have to see money like it's your man, right? And you want to have dates with your man. You want to love on because guess what? If you take care of money, money will take care of you. So one challenge I'm going to encourage you to do to make a shift and to also save some more money. And also this will also require discipline. So that goes back to setting those intentions every day. Is in the group, some people are doing a $1 challenge. Some people are doing a $5 challenge. And then other people are doing a $10,000 challenge, right? So the $1 challenge and the $5 challenge is simply that whenever you have cash and you have ones or you have fives, you take them and you put them into a box, right? So, and I already got my box ready. I was going to show you my box that I already have ready right here, right? It has a little slit in there so that whenever you, again, have $1 bills or $5 bills, you drop it right into your box, right? And people have been showing their little success stories. People have like 3,000, 1,000. Somebody had $10,000 just from saving it in this box and then not touching it, right? So the importance of this is having it in a box like this, so you're not like, oh, I gotta go in there and I have to use it and I have to spend it, right? So you want to make it so it's not as easily accessible, right? But there are creative ways that you can do things, right? So I know obviously we have the traditional bank account, savings account, and all that, but there are creative ways you can do stuff. Now the $10,000 challenge, I believe, is you saving $200 every single week for the next year, I believe, right? So and there was like there's charts of it. If you Google it, you'll probably see the charts. But those are just some easy and simple ways that you can take yourself through the process of saving money, but also keeping more money in your pocket by cutting out things that are unnecessary that you don't necessarily need, right? And something that keeps coming to me over and over again is that less is more, right? I've heard it from about 3-4 different people in the last couple of days. So I guess that's a divine download for me, but I'm also going to express that to you, that less is more. So trust me, you can live off less, but have way more in terms of your life. So again, consider making that shift for next year, cutting out things that are unnecessary. That even goes down to unnecessary subscriptions. I restated my Netflix just so I can watch She's Gotta Have It. 2 weeks ago, I watched She's Gotta Have It. I canceled that the other day because guess what? I'm not going to watch it. I know I don't watch TV like that, so guess what? I don't need it. So think about some unnecessary things that you're already spending on that you don't necessarily need to. Make that shift. Second, make a shift of getting a habit of saving your ones or saving your fives. She said, I need to cut off so much. Saving your $1 bills and saving your $5 bills. And then the last shift, as I've been exploring that area a little bit more, and something that I don't always usually do, I always usually carry a card and not cash, but carrying cash more often and setting up almost allowances for yourself is another shift. Again, I will be practicing those things as we move into the new year, because I usually never have cash. But imagine if you gave yourself that allowance, that also helps you stay in alignment with your vision and with your goals. And imagine if you made that shift and you knew exactly where all your money is, where all of it is coming to. You know exactly how much you have. And once you spend for that particular week, you done spent your allowance. So, okay. And then after that, if people are like, oh, you want to go to a concert? You want to do this? You better act like you broke for that moment. Act like you're broke. Meanwhile, you're making bank in your savings account and in your bank account, and you're saving up. And then what are you doing? You're starting to build wealth. You're building yourself a savings. If something happens, then you have a go-to, and you don't have to be in struggle mode. You don't have to be in paycheck to paycheck mode either. But again, that's a really big shift that will require you to do some work. And like I said, I'm trying to see if I have her book over here. And I think it's on my other table. But anyway, again, a lot of that wisdom is coming from Tiffany, the Budgetnista. She has a Facebook group called the Dream Catchers, which I'm a part of. You probably already a part of it because there are like hundreds of thousands of people. All my friends are in, all my Facebook friends are in that group. They always comment. So it's definitely a group to get into. She also has it's a free challenge too. I brought the book for $10, but the challenge is actually free. I bought the book because I like books. I like to read. But it's free. If you go on there, she has a free credit challenge. She also has a free Live Richer challenge where she helps you every day. You have to like do a goal. You have to get your accounts in order. You have to separate your accounts and so on and so forth. So anyway, That is shift number 5 to consider. Like I said, I'm not necessarily an expert in that area, but I know it's something that the women in my community want to do better with. And together we can make that shift, right? It's better when it's not just me, but all of us can come together and make that shift, right? So I'll be checking in with you about that one as we move through. All right, let's get to shift number 6. We're almost done. 8 shifts for 2018, right? And 8 is actually my favorite number. So I'm like super excited about 2018. And not only that, 8 is the number of new beginnings. So I'm like totally hyped. And it's the number of abundance. So it's probably the shift and the time for you to shift and get money and things like that in order, right? So number 6 is to pitch and promote yourself shamelessly, right? Pitch and promote yourself shamelessly. And the reason why I'm saying that, I mean, on your job, this is especially true for your career area, your career, your purpose sector. And if you have a business, pitch and promote yourself shamelessly. Like start using your, your personal your personal profile more. And I don't necessarily mean not to spam people. Be like, buy this, buy this, buy this. Please don't do that because you will be blocked. I added somebody the other day. She was slid right in my DM. Girl, you need to buy X, Y, and Z. Girl, you need to get blocked. Because that's not the way we out here selling stuff. Okay. So anyway, pitch and promote yourself. Even if that's at work, if there's something that you see that you want to do, step up and do it. And obviously, I know in terms of like promotions, that's in all different career sectors is different. Trust me, I don't know everyone. I'm in the field of education. I'm in the field of entrepreneurship. But pitch and promote yourself shamelessly. And the reason why I'm really saying that is the message I'm really trying to give you as a shift is stop waiting for other people to put you on. Like stop, right? It's like stop waiting until you have a degree to think, oh, I'm an expert and I can do this. Stop waiting for that. Like that really gets on my nerves. Stop waiting. Put your own self on, right? One of my clients, we were talking a couple of weeks ago. She's like, oh, well, how did you get into the Huffington Post? Because I asked, right? I reached out to somebody who, who does stuff with the Huffington Post. And I said, hey, I got a story. I'm going to pitch this to you. This year I pitched my book, Born Fierce. Even though I missed the deadline, I shamelessly pitched myself to an editor at Essence to be in their holiday gift guide. I pitched myself. So I had missed the deadline, right? Because magazines work on a different deadline. But I'm like, you know what? I'm going to shoot my shot anyway. I also pitched myself for the community Women by Choice. And the crazy part is, and that's the part that I find crazy sometimes, is when I pitch myself, a lot of people already know who I am. And I'm like, you do? I mean, it's me, but you do. And when I pitch myself to Women by Choice, she's like, girl, I've been following you for a very long time. I really like you. I like your flow. When do you want to show up for my community? Okay. And again, that's because I put myself out there. She could have been like, girl, no, your platform is here. My platform is here. I'm not fooling with you. But that is not the type of response that I received. The same is true when I was in my local newspaper. I shot my shot, right? I did it last year. I shot my shot, and then I did it again this year. And guess what? My article I created was published within 24 hours, and I didn't even know it was, because sometimes in media they don't always come back and tell you, oh, hey, your stuff is in here. I was getting texts, I was getting DM, girl, you in a newspaper. My husband saw you this morning when he was drinking his coffee, right? Because guess what? I had to shoot my shot. So stop waiting for people to put you on. Stop waiting until you have a degree to do X, Y, and Z. And even if you get a rejection or whatever the case may be, maybe you don't get the promotion, maybe you don't get in Essence Magazine, I don't care. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Because you just never know. You just never, ever know. And it's like, I feel like a lot of times we give up very easily. You got to make that shift in 2018 that you're not going to give up, at the first sign where somebody is rejecting you, or they don't want you, or you missed the deadline, or, somebody else is selected or chosen, because you honestly just never know what's in store. You never know what's to come. And also, once you start putting yourself out there, you start getting opportunities, the opportunities will start coming to you. I will tell you, in the last week or so, I've gotten at least like 5 or 6 requests to be on people's telesummits that I don't even know how they even know me. It seems like it's a community of people, and they're all like reaching out to me. Somehow my name is in whatever pool that they have. And I'm like, well, how do all of y'all know me, right? Somebody in their group must know me, and they're sharing, oh, this is a good person for you to connect with. So they're all now coming to me. Oh, okay, so I have like a million interviews. I'm not going to say I have a million. I have a million interview requests. But again, not only when you're pitching yourself, again, you have to be selective about what you're doing, making sure it's alignment, making sure you are, it matches up with your mission and what you're doing and all that kind of thing. But again, I would say shamelessly plug yourself, pitch yourself. And I will also tell you this when it comes to, even posting stuff on social media that you are doing. Say you post and nobody's liking your stuff, right? Because I post and sometimes, especially on my personal page, nobody like my stuff. Girl, but tell me if I go in my email, I will see personal friends signing up for the stuff that I have, or I will see somebody coming through on a webinar. I will see somebody in my DM. I will see somebody out. Girl, that was just so awesome. But if I go back to that post, it won't be no likes on there. So the other thing it goes back to, as I mentioned earlier, is when I mentioned like get off social media, don't get off social media, but also not necessarily get off of it, but use it strategically and know that people are watching what you are doing, right? So people are watching what you are doing, even when you're putting stuff out there and it seems like, oh, maybe it's not getting buzz or whatever the case may be. People definitely be watching. People definitely be watching. And I'll always say this, that lurkers, people that lurk, like they like stuff, but they don't really post a lot. They are definitely lucrative and they definitely can bring stuff to you, right? I get people requesting all the time, oh, so-and-so recommended you to come in and do a workshop, or so-and-so would like for you to teach and do this. And I'm like, oh, okay, right? But then again, that's because I shamelessly promote myself, which took me a while to get up the courage to do. But now that I do that on a consistent basis, then it's like, okay, then this is the girl. There's nobody else we need to go to. And the same thing is true at work. At work, I don't necessarily shamelessly promote myself. My students do that for me. But stepping up and doing stuff, I would say, I guess, I don't want to say free of charge, but I guess like last year I put on a big event for one of the programs that I work within, and everybody's like, oh my God, like that program was popping. So I shamelessly promoted myself indirectly by me really positioning myself as like that go-to person to put on banging events for the school, if that makes sense. So now that's in people's mindset that's what I can do. So if you want that type of epic experience for the next year, and of course they got me planning it this year too, right? Of course, I ended up on a committee for this year again for this like school-wide family night that's coming up. But at the same time, people are able to see my skill and see my talent, right? But that was a shift that I had to make, because before I would kind of be quiet, knowing I had all of this amazingness or all of this skill, but kind of kept it quiet and kept it to myself, or didn't speak up and didn't put my own stuff on, right? So put your own stuff on. Shamelessly put yourself out there, pitch yourself, promote yourself. Stop waiting for somebody, Oprah, to call you. Hey girl, come be on my next little master class. Put that down, make your own master class, okay? And from there, then you are able to flow and to figure out, what direction to go from there. Okay. All right, number 7 shift that you need to make in your life is don't, and this is when you pray, right? Don't keep asking God for a sign and then ignore the signs. Okay. And I just read a book. Before I got on here. I read a book in a whole hour. I ordered this new new book, read the entire thing in an hour. And it reminded me of that so much, right? But don't ask God for a sign and then ignore the signs. And you're like praying, oh God, I need confirmation on this, I need this, I need that. And then he sends you red flags, or he sends you a rejection, or he sends you this, or he sends you that, and then you ignore it. Stop doing that. Stop. That's a shift that you need to make as you move into the new year. Stop ignoring the things that are being said to you. I know the other day, 2 days ago, I was praying, God, I need confirmation on this particular thing when it comes to my business. And then I went back through my journal, my business journal from the last couple of months, and I had already asked for the same thing already twice in the last couple of months, and I already had the confirmation right there, right? But I think sometimes we kind of like, oh, should I do that? Should I not do that? Should I do this? Should I not do that? When you already have received the confirmation, like how much confirmation do you want him to give you? How many red flags do you need him to send you before you like, no, I'm not going to do that thing, or yes, I need to move in this direction, right? So don't ask for the signs. Again, don't ask for the signs and then ignore skirt and then ignore when they actually come to you, right? And again, I'm speaking to myself, but I know I'm not the only one that does that. I know I'm not the only one. The same is true when it comes to relationships, right? So often we really want him to be the one, or we really want this to work out. We ask for this sign, and it'll be red flags, right? I know it was a guy I used to talk to, and God, the signs was like really, really big, really, really big. And I would be like, oh, that's nothing. It's, it's not going to bother me, or whatever the case may be. That was dumb. So obviously you had to learn your lessons. But again, don't pray and ask for something, that you've already asked for, you've already got confirmation or already got revelation, just because it's not what you want to hear, or just because you don't, want to take the action and move forward with it, right? So it's really about you being more, I guess, more invested in yourself on the inner level. There's like a certain knowing that you have to have, right? But again, that's going to go back to you going back to basics and having that time with God every day, which I encourage you to do, so that you're so in tune that when a sign pops up, you automatically know, okay, this is from him. Today I was out and I ordered food, and my ticket number, right? I'm real into signs and symbols and stuff. And I go more in depth into that in my Powerfully Positioned Women Academy. But I received back my ticket, and it had my name, and then I had the number 33 next to it. So when somebody walked by, I saw them look down at my ticket. I'm like, why are you looking at my ticket, right? So I grabbed it, and I was like, there's something interesting. There's a sign that is there. So I took that ticket, and I'm like, I need to look up what is the significance of 33. And I already know in the back of my mind some of the significance, but I now need to go back and look that up, because that's a sign right there of something, right? There's a sign right there of something that I need to be on alert, right? And again, don't ask for signs and then ignore things that actually come up, because God will speak to you in a myriad of ways, through people, through numbers, through children, right? Through the television, through the radio. Like there are so many ways, through nature, right? Like there are so many ways that God will try to talk to you. And we are, some of us are not in tuned enough to recognize that or to understand that, or some of us are in tune and then we ignore it because it's not what we want to hear. But it's not about what we want, it's about what he wants. Okay. All right. Last but not least, number 8 shift that we need to make in order for us to have the year that we truly desire to have. And that is simply you determining your definition of happiness and your definition of success. So that's you determining your definition of happiness and your definition of success, right? And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because so often, and this gets us tripped up sometimes, we kind of live in this world where we want the fantasy, we want the fairy tale, right? Or we kind of want our lives to go and be a certain way because it is but oftentimes it's somebody else's definition of success. So we want to have a certain lifestyle because that's kind of what we grow up knowing. But deep down inside of us, we really want something different, or we really want something more than what we grew up with, right? But it's like, okay, but my mom or my dad, their definition of success is this. So, unconsciously you fall into that pattern where you want to have this certain life. And then sometimes when we get that certain life, we're not happy because it wasn't what we wanted, right? And again, my definition of being fierce, confident, and powerful might be different from your definition of being fierce, confident, and powerful. My idea of having it all might be different than your idea of having it all, right? So what I want to do with my life and kind of traveling around and doing X, Y, and Z might not be what you want, or it might not be what other people want from me. I know personally, I used to feel super, super, super guilty about my dreams and my vision, because my dreams and my vision would require me to travel a lot more. It would also take me out of the traditional teaching classroom. But I used to feel guilty because what? Because I'm young, I'm Black, and I'm a female. And how many young Black female teachers are there? Not that many. I know that I make an impact, right? So everybody around me, what's all of this noise? Like, oh, you're doing such a great job. Oh, you need to be in the classroom. But again, that kind of stifled that kind of energy in the past used to make me play small, right? Because I will be trying my best, I would feel guilty or I would feel ashamed because I don't want to disappoint other people around me, right? But however, my definition of happiness and success and purpose and living my dream is totally different than maybe what the people around me might want. So as a result of that, I had to learn how to step out of that comfort zone and become this kind of fierce, confident, bold person who don't give up what anybody else says. This is what I want to do, and this is what I'm going to build up my empire to do, right? So think about, what is your definition of happiness and success, and not allowing others, all of the noise that can come up sometimes, other people to interfere with that particular definition of happiness and success. But you have to define it for yourself, because again, everybody has a different definition of success. Some people think it's money is their definition of success. Some people think being at peace is success. I know that's part of my I know that's part of my definition, right? But again, map it out for you and what you want. And remember, it might not be traditional, it might not be what everybody else around you might want, but that's a shift that you need to make in order for you to really live a life that you really desire and that you really want. Okay. All right. Let's do a quick recap of the 8 ways to make shift happen in 2018. So again, number 1, you need to write your intentions down every single day. That means every single day, even if you fall off, get back on. Number 2 thing that you need to do is you need to get an accountability partner, or you need to invest in a coach. And like I said, a coach doesn't have to be $50 million. There are some that are $50 million and are amazing, but they don't necessarily have to be. You can start small. You can buy somebody's book, get a feel from them, and then go from there, or look through their blog posts, look through their Instagram, and then get a feel from them for there if you want to connect with them. Or you can go and get an accountability partner. It could be a friend, it could be a sister, it could be somebody in a Facebook group, right? It could be somebody you connect with at an organization near where you live. It could be somebody at school or wherever you are. You can find somebody that can help hold you accountable, okay? Number 3 is to get off of social media in terms of comparing yourself or wasting time where you could be productive doing something else. Number 4 is to go back to basics. Whatever you used to do that allowed you to get to where you are, especially in your most successful areas of your life, you need to get back to those basics of those things, okay? Number 5 thing that you need to do to make a shift in your life is to start getting your money in order. Get your money in order and cut out unnecessary things. Begin the process of carrying cash more often, right? Also begin the process and consider doing a $1 or $5 challenge where you're saving money up so that you have, you have a savings and you have money that you can utilize, for a vacation or if something comes up or to start that business, right? So if you're saving that money up, that will give you an opportunity if you make that shift, okay? Number 6 is to pitch and promote yourself shamelessly, right? Stop waiting for other people to put you on. Stop waiting for your university to give you a degree. Stop waiting for you to get 100 clients before you're like, oh, I'm a business owner. Like, no, you can start declaring that right now. Like, you don't need to wait for somebody else. Or if you, want to be in a magazine or be on TV, like start your own TV show, right? I have a friend with Dr. Ebony Bell. Guess what? She has her own little talk show that I was on earlier this year. Girl, I forgot I was on there. That I was on earlier this year. Like, you don't have to wait till you're Oprah to have your show, right? You can do that right now. Stop waiting for, this magic opportunity to come out of nowhere. Start putting yourself on. Number 7, don't ask God for a sign and then ignore the signs that you are already receiving as confirmations or revelations. And then number 8, determine your definition of happiness and success. No, determine your definition of happiness and success for yourself, right? And then follow that unapologetically, and do not be bothered by what other people say. Because like I told you, I used to be all the way bothered. Like, I don't know how I'm gonna tell them the truth now. I probably don't care. Because I know what I've been called to do. And when you're able to surrender over to God and say, God, I say yes to what you want to do. And once he tells you what to do, then that's what I'm doing. Even if other people don't understand, that is okay if they don't understand, right? So here are 8 ways to make shift in 2018, which is going to require, and it's going to take some time, but hopefully these were able to give you some direction able to give you some direction as you continue on this journey, as you move into the next year, right? If you guys have any questions, please feel free to leave them below. I hope that you have enjoyed this. I encourage you to share your takeaways below. I encourage you in the comment section below. I encourage you to share this broadcast. And for anybody who also wants to go a little bit deeper, if you've enjoyed this class, this is just a taste of what it is that I offer to women on a daily basis. But I currently have my New Year, Fierce New You sale going on that has 4 different classes available on there for $20.18 each, which definitely ain't happening in 2018, as I am switching my business model. That definitely won't be going, that definitely won't be happening. But the 4 classes that I have available are Fierce and Focus, 8 Ways to Win in 2018, right? So you would get double this, right? What you got today. I also have Unleashed and Unstoppable, How to Prepare Yourself What God Has Next for You. That class is actually like fire. It's pure fire. And then one that a lot of people keep buying is Heal Your Heart. How to reclaim your wholeness and worthiness and love. So I did that earlier this year as a webinar, which has to be, I will hands down say, one of the best classes that I've ever taught out of like the 100 million ones that I have. Like that's fire right there. Like I even had people personally requesting, like, are you gonna have this on sale for the holiday? And a lot of people have actually purchased it. If you missed it or you weren't a part of my community, then it is now available for you if you are interested in positioning yourself for love. And kind of healing yourself and being in alignment with what God has next for you in terms of the man that's for you. Then that's a good class. And then last but not least, a new popular one is called the Purpose Lab, How to Unleash Your Fierce Calling. So for any of the ladies out there who are still struggling with, how do you discover your purpose and your calling? How do you deal with your job even when you don't care for it that much, you don't like it? But then also, how do you manifest new opportunities to come your way in terms of your career and your business, right? And there's also some things in there in terms of you kind of positioning yourself as, not even kind of, like fiercely positioning yourself as a brand and offering a product or service that you can get and make more money from, right? So you can get all of those separately, or you can get the bundle. If you get the bundle, then you will save some money, but you will also get to have a free 30-minute Fierce New You session with me. So we can talk heart to heart, woman to woman, and do a little breakthrough session for you as you position yourself for the new year. So again, I am excited and ecstatic for all that is to come in the new year. I would encourage you to go check out my Fierce New You sale for those that are interested, even those who are catching the replay. I hope that you have enjoyed this class, and I hope that you will enjoy me again for the next episode of Fierce TV. So there is the link for you right there for anybody who is interested. If there are no other questions for tonight, then I'm going to sign off, right? I'm trying to get my music going so we can end out with another little rap session tonight. It's been my pleasure to be here. So if there are no questions, y'all know I like Cardi. Then I am going to see you next time for another episode of Fierce TV. Make sure you share this. Make sure you leave me some comments and let me know what you've enjoyed. And have a good night.